I'm Dr. Stephen Klugewicz, president of Franklin's Opus, and I'm here today with Dr. Phillip Magness, who is academic program director for the Institute for Humane Studies at George Mason University. Dr. Magness has his own website, philmagness.com. He's a frequent blogger for cosmosonline.org, and he is the author of Colonization After Emancipation, Lincoln and the Movement for Black Resettlement. So, in terms of colonization, so you're saying this was part and parcel of any idea of emancipation, that anti-slavery people, abolitionists, and we can talk about the difference between those two groups, but the idea was blacks just could not live alongside whites?
There are a variety of different views that come out of this. One of the leading themes, and this is something that carries through to Lincoln's time, is that a post-slavery society will be a society full of racial discord. That the former slaves and their former masters will be inherently disposed to a situation where one is not treated properly or is equal with the other, and violence will ensue. The idea is that it's paternalistic in the sense that we guide the former slave black population back to a proper homeland in Africa. It's also paternalistic in another sense. They view the slave population extracted from the United States, now taught in the ways of Christian civilization, as a force of civilizing Africa itself. So they view the American slaves as being the teachers of the African continent, to bring it into republican self-government, to bring it into the modern world as the perception. So it's thoroughly paternalistic, has a hint of imperialism in it, but at the same time it's not explicitly antagonistic to the black side. Colonizationists come of all different stripes. There are some colonizationists that simply view North America as the white man's continent, and it should be preserved that way, and this is a means of ending the race problem. There are other colonizationists that recognize the race problem as a practical issue. It's something that they view as inevitable, and no matter how we try to solve it, we're going to have to deal with this. So the best solution, or the next best solution, is to relocate the blacks abroad and at least give them a fighting chance to govern themselves, free of this intrusion and discrimination that they're almost inevitably going to face. And that's really the end of the colonization movement that Lincoln comes down on as well.
Let's talk about the abolitionists for a second.
Yeah.
They're usually depicted as good guys.
Yeah.
They like African Americans. They wanted immediate emancipation for them, full equality. Is this right? This is the picture we have.
A split that occurs, and it really starts in the early 1830s, of many former colonizationists that don't have too much in the way of a day-to-day exposure to the black population. These are New Englanders. These are people from northern states with very small black populations. But they're also naturally anti-slavery, and many of them gravitate toward this old colonization society in its formative days. But they become increasingly radicalized around a figure, William Lloyd Garrison, a very prominent abolitionist figure that splits away from the colonization movement and denounces it. And he takes a much more radical strain of anti-slavery thinkers with him, that they want no part and parcel with this political solution to the slave problem. They want no part and parcel with a solution that's premised upon great massive public expenditures, suspect motives, because there are Southerners, slave owners, that are members of this organization that they don't trust. The Yankee abolitionist class in and of itself is very divergent in its own interests as well. There are some that are truly concerned about the well-being and welfare of African Americans, view them as equals. There are others that have almost no personal interconnection with African Americans whatsoever, and view it from afar as a problem to solve. View it as something that we want to extract this from the divisiveness of the national climate, political climate, but they want nothing in particular to do with the well-being of the slaves after slavery, other than ensuring that freedom comes about, and then it's somebody else's problem.